Yes, David Dinkins. I'm not sure if he really eats from deli sandwiches. He's a very well dressed guy, and he wouldn't want to spill on himself. Although he would change several times a day. He would change outfits like two or three times, and they were
That's
always
pretty
like
cool.
very, very dapper.
The mayor
Why?
who does costume changes like Lady Gaga. Cool.
It's a Dinkins thing. It's a Dink thing. So
It's a big thing.
I should mention too, a campaign issue in 1989 is he just like didn't pay taxes for 3 years or something like that, and he just like didn't have an explanation for it other than like I forgot, and people would keep asking him about it, and he says, "Look, I haven't committed a crime. What I did was fail to comply with the law." But people,
This is the most relatable thing a mayor has ever said.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
that's got to brushed under the rug, or it's like not that big of a deal in '89. But he does notable. He only gets a third of white voters, so it's that third, and then the rest of the mosaic coming behind him.
It's a beautiful mosaic.
Yes, beautiful mosaic. So he gets in office in late '89, early '90, and things are tough in NYC. He has more power than he would have because of the BOE going away, but the tax revenue is continuing to shrink with the economy as well. Looks like they're going to have budget deficits, and it's very nerve-wracking for someone in his position because you really don't want to go back to another financial control board, right? Because that's going to screw everything he would want to do. So he has to cut the budget in ways he did not want to, and that's kind of the tragedy of looking back on Dinkins, and the stuff I was not super aware of is that he did slash daycare, public health, and he, because he had $1 billion deficit that he was looking at, so he chose the path of fiscal austerity. Federal aid was also not coming in as much as it had been in the past. This is after 8 years of Reagan. So it's just not true that, unfortunately, he's not like he was a member of DSA, Democratic Socialism of America, but he didn't really govern like one so much. I mean, there's a couple good things he did there, but we should be clear, he was an Austerian. And some of that is because of circumstance, but some of that is just because of his political background, really. He was part of the machine, part of the New York City machine, and they had a lot of financial interests backing them, and there were fixers and lawyers and a corrupt democratic machine, right? Maybe he was better than Ed Koch, but there were still real estate barons and lobbyists and people who were able to twist his arm and not raise taxes on them, and instead give tax abatements to companies that he was scared were going to run out of town. Because that was really the terrifying thing, is that you would lose even more of your tax base. So what they did was slash taxes even more for like Morgan Stanley, who only had like a few thousand employees in New York City, but the argument was made to him that, there's enough economic activity generated by them that it would be a big loss to the economy.
Even if you are the progressive voice in government, you're the mayor. I mean, you're still talking to 100 people who are supposed experts on this stuff you only peripherally know about. And, this was the big argument, I think, with Warren that I kept running into, is that I would talk to these older liberals who were very excited, and they were like, why would you vote for Bernie when you could vote for Elizabeth Warren if they want to do the same things? And it's like, because Elizabeth Warren's going to have a totally different group of people around her who are not ideologically committed to the same changes that even she has you believing she's committed to. So unless there's 1,000 David Dinkins, one David Dinkins is probably just going to do the stuff Ed Koch would do.
Plus, David Dinkins was just doing DSA to get laid because it was cool at the time.
Right. He wanted to be by the long-legged socialists.
Yeah, I mean, this was around the time Obama was, I mean, maybe a little earlier. Obama was in college and lusting after lefties.
I mean, back then, socialists, I mean, the girls, my God.
The 80s, baby.
It was the Tic Tacs they made back then. They made the skin soft.
Yeah.
What?